son kick. I can't imagine saying, well, this is too much.
But you know, it's almost part of a bigger problem of life has become cheap.
Well, I think a lot of it's got to do with faith being demonized and
Taken out of the school system. You know, Ms. Jones in 7th grade told us, and you know, everybody talks about their rights. I have the right to do this. I have the right to free speech. I have the right to. And that's true, but she said, yes, you have the right, but your rights end where mine begin.
yeah,
And nobody wants to hear that now.
it's a very clear statement too. I mean,
So whether it's somebody I meet on the sidewalk or in the mall or whatever, or my children or whatever, my rights do have a limit.
Yep.
And it's how I need to treat them. Well, what we've gotten away from is everybody's so concerned about their rights.
Yeah,
that they're not worried.
Like a me, my culture, almost.
So when you look at
Almost ad nauseum.
the murder
sometimes.
rates in Chicago and Baltimore and all of these places, the way sex trafficking children across the southern border,
It's horrific.
the selling of drugs. I mean,
All of it, and it's almost like nobody wants to do anything about it either. And I don't. This is going off the topic of
Yeah,
abortion, but it's an odd thing that
but it's,
nobody wants to.
is
fix
there
it.
the moral fiber, the moral fortitude, or the moral conviction
Do you think we've lost that?
of saying it's kind of being the Ivy League schools, the way I've heard it, and of course I wasn't there, so I don't know, but in the late 60s, mid 60s, whatever, the Ivy League schools started talking about there was no absolute right or wrong and all of this type stuff. And, you know, and it's been a slow deterioration of ownership of
One's own actions.
one's own actions. And prior to being on this, we talked about how everything has its intended consequences, but it's the
And
unintended,
the real world consequences.
yes,
you know.
the unintended consequences that come from oftentimes these psychological conditions of these young, scared, unwed mothers who do choose to have an abortion, and later on in life, the scarring,
I can't imagine the psychological. If you
psychological
regretted it,
scarring.
I mean, that regret is going to
So, but
eat you. I would.
it's not for me to stand up on a pulpit and say, thou shalt not, if I'm not willing to get out and help them.
Yeah, I completely. That's
So
a profound statement. If you're not willing to stand behind your words and your convictions, then well, you don't have any, which is honestly the truth. I mean, the abortion industry horrifies me. I don't know what to say. I mean, those videos of the power plants in Oregon and Planned Parenthood, workers holding up babies' arms out of a bucket,
selling parts.
and it just.
You know, and I don't know if that stemmed from, you know, when President Bush was in and he locked down the stem cells,
I don't
which would
know
be an
what-
industry, because then you would have to take those
I mean, it's almost like the
8 cell stage or less.
what do you call it? The Chinese had the forced transplant surgeries. They had
Yes,
in
they were
China,
allowed.
and the one child policy and the other things that go on. And I don't know what the solution is. I think we can fight to ban it. I think there are enough people that are. I really don't know what to say. I hate the way that the number of, how it's used in the black communities in the United States. If I'm gonna say it quite frankly, I don't like the Planned Parenthood, you know, you're not gonna see it in the.
That was
in the
part
Midwest.
of, who, what was the
Margaret,
lady's?
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that.
she was a well-known white supremacist. I mean, it was eugenics, and if I had, I'd love to have a solution to fix it. I don't know what we do. It's somewhere. It either has to be completely outlawed, or it has to be left to the states. Because honestly, you know, it's a constitutional republic, and each state should be allowed to choose their own. If you don't want, I don't want my tax money paying for something like that, and I have the right to leave my state and go somewhere that won't support it. That doesn't mean it's not me condoning in any way, but if that's what it takes to reach an agreement on the stupid thing, because I'm never going to agree with somebody that it's not a human life. It's just,
That's a tough one. I think some things you can agree to disagree on.
I have a hard time. That's life.
But murder is murder.
Coming from the same people who want to take my guns.
Yeah.
And not, my other problem is, one of the biggest arguments I've ever had is that the pro-abortion crowd is always anti-death penalty.
And
I have nothing on that. I don't know what to make of it. It's one of the most ridiculous arguments I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That you can be pro-abortion and anti-getting rid of John Wayne Gacy, or the shooter at the Walmart a few weeks ago.
I've heard the argument, and I think there's a certain amount of validity to it that, the left is about feelings.
I think it's about totalitarianism.
The right is about law and facts and outcomes, but to the left, it's unfair that this woman was raped, and it's unfair that she should have to go what she has to go through. And from a right standpoint, that's life.
Well, yeah, that's something of the most bizarre argument you can come up. Is it fair that I was born short and you were born tall?
Well,
That's bullshit. I mean, I need 3 inches of your feet. I'm sorry.
Well,
we'll be equal.
Not tall enough to play basketball, and I'm too tall for anything else, so I'm a tweener. But the problem is, and this is Liberty University, and I think one of the greatest points I ever heard made is Jesus did not say set up a storefront.
No. Yeah.
He said go out. And it isn't for us to go out and pound tables some people, that is their calling.
No,
But
that's one of those things that very rarely is ever going to convince somebody.
For me, and I think for most people, it's you go out among them and show them that you care and that you love them, and that you help them. That's what I love about our community, is that it doesn't matter race or whatever.
That's what I love about our country. Is
you bend over backwards and help
see
each
the
other.
hurricanes, and everybody comes out, and everybody helps. After the tornadoes we had in Oklahoma, I mean, just volunteer after volunteer, and
You
not
see the
expecting
hurricane,
anything.
you see people from all
and
over.
people pour in to help. And
Who's those ones out the
boat militia thing.
the Cajun Navy.
The Cajun Navy. Yeah,
that comes
there you go.
to North Carolina and stuff.
I think that's one of the best things about our country is the willingness to help your neighbor, no matter what.
And really, Christianity has been vilified, but hospitals were started by Christians. The early universities were started by Christians. Slavery was ended by Christians.
Well, have you ever seen the the statistics on, like donating money to NGOs, non-governmental organization, and these foundations and how much they actually do versus what charity did 100 years ago when people reliably donated to their church and the church helped the community and people came together as a family. And it's almost gotten to the point in this country where maybe it's the internet. I don't know what it, but we seem to have lost that sense of community in a lot of ways, and I think that's a it's not making it better. I'm positive on that.
This is gonna sound funny, but the worst thing that happened to America was a McDonald's drive-through. 'Cause you went
I'm
through,
willing to listen to this one.
you get it right now.
You don't have to talk to
You
anybody.
don't have to talk to anybody, you don't have to wait. You
Throw
don't
your
have
money
to-
through the window.
You go on about your business.
Yeah, that's
And we've lost that whole sense of
connection,
connection.
community.
I heard this story is in,
I'm gonna stop you real quick,
Okay.
Chris. I've been going way too long.
okay,
I'm just gonna thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it, man.
all right, thank you.